There we are. We are live. We are live. Awesome. Thank you all so much for joining with me here today for this live stream. All of you here joining me live, and of course, all of you joining with me on our replay. All right. First off, happy Father's Day. What an awesome day for all of the fathers out there. Really enjoy all the love from all the kids out there. So really happy Father's Day to all of our wonderful gardeners out there. And yeah, really got some really good messages from my kid and all of that today. So I'm really filled up as far as that goes. So, um, you know, besides what we're going to be talking about a little bit today, we're also going to talk about some gardening and all that sort of stuff too, because we are a gardening channel. But I just really great to have a day like this where you can really have some talking and some communication with the people that love you and all that sort of stuff. Because the last last several weeks have been really kind of difficult around here. So, and we'll get into some of all of that and everything too. It's been, just a few days. I did release a video we'll talk about here in just a little bit though too. But my last live stream was like 3 weeks ago, and that's right when I was catching COVID, and literally, just hours after that, man, I was gone. And I was gone for a while. We'll get into talking a little bit more about that again, but I just really want to mention a couple of people here, and all of you out there, again, thank you for joining with me here on the Urban Gardener channel. We got a lot to talk about. We got a lot of different things going on, and I want to thank Matthew. Matthew, thanks for joining with me here. Christopher, so awesome to see you. It's got to be really late where you are, so I hope that office and everything's coming together great too, and that hopefully we'll get together soon, and we'll really be talking about some gardening and some growing and all that sort of stuff. What we're really here to be doing ultimately. Oh, so 11 p.m. Okay, so not too bad, not too late. All right, and Nancy, of course, awesome to see you here for the live stream. It's always great to have Nancy with us here on the channel. Great supporter, great gardener, and also our admin of our Let's Get Growing Gardening group on Facebook. So real quick, right off the bat, I'm just going to plug that. Get down in the comment or the description down below. There's a link to our Facebook group. And if you're just joining with us here or haven't had a chance to yet, come over there, join our group, come share some of your gardening and some of your pictures of your gardens, and share some things or ask some questions of some people in the gardening group. If you have any questions about wanting to get a garden started or process of growing a garden you already have. There's a lot of great gardeners in our nice little community that we have here on the Urban Gardener. Okay. Chris says we need to do a stream together soon. Yes, I know, and we were talking about that in some messages here. But like I've been saying, I've been kind of really laid out over the last couple of weeks, and of course some news that we're going to be talking about here in just a minute and stuff. But once we get past all of this, and I'm starting to feel a lot better, still not 100% yet, but I'm starting to feel a lot better. I'm all ready to get back into this season and get gardening and get growing and getting all the things that we've got growing on here. Just get moving on to the next part of the season. Summer is just basically a day or two away, so we've got a lot to get growing on around here. So that's definitely going to be something we're going to be doing here real soon, getting right back on the horse, getting things growing around here too. So really great again to have you here and to have you gardening with me, and come join us in our gardening community on the Let's Get Growing Gardening page or group. Okay, so I do have some things to talk about. A lot of we'll kind of catch up with some of the what's been happening since, because like I said, our last live stream was me catching COVID And I had just tested positive that day that I did the live stream, and I started feeling some symptoms the day or so before. Just kind of lightly, it seemed like it came on that first day or so, but I'm not even kidding. When I really started feeling those symptoms that morning, pow, knocked me right out. Anyways, so again, kind of what we're going to talk about today is some things that have gone on here with our gardening invitational. We've had some really kind of devastating news about all of that, and I want to kind of get into some details about that because I did. This is a my channel. This is my kind of public online social media and all that sort of stuff is what was really involved here. A lot of the people who have been following what we're doing and growing with us and all of that sort of stuff. And that's another thing too. I just really also want to stop, I guess, and say thank you to everybody who's been sending me all the support in the last couple of days. Not just people commenting on my posts and really sending some real good support over the issue that I'm dealing with, but there's been a lot of people sending me personal messages through my Facebook page and through my Instagram page, and just really encouraging me. And I mean, it's literally nearly 100%. And I can't be thankful enough for all of that. This is some really difficult stuff I've been going through. And when you know that you've got a community of people who are standing up and supporting you, not just publicly, as you can see on some of the comments on my Facebook page and Instagram, like I said, but the people who are just outpouring to me personally to just, tell me how much they understand how kind of, like I said, devastating this is for me. So we're going to talk about that a little bit. Again, I do want everybody to know that we're going to talk about some gardening and some growing and some things that I've got going on and what we're going to be doing next here as we move forward with this live stream here. But I do kind of want to get all of this sort of stuff out. Again, a modestly sized gardening channel, and we've got a decent sized amount of people who follow us or have come along and follow us during this whole process with the invitational that is a public forum, and it's promoted and put out on a public forum. I had myself out there very publicly for this competition, and so I felt it was really kind of necessary to right off the bat let everybody know what was going on, and kind of really I wanted to share how it affected me personally, and how I did that really was I found out the news through an email. I sent out a few really just kind of panicked emails real quick, and then I recorded kind of a reaction. And I recorded that reaction like within the hour that I found out, and it's the first time I've ever made a video, because I like to edit my videos, I like to put things together, I like to, I have fun with that process. But this was the first time, other than a live stream, where I just literally hit the button, talked and said what I had to say, and then I pressed stop. I didn't even review it. I just uploaded it and watched it with everybody on the premiere, and I just thought it was kind of like something I needed to do publicly to kind of give an initial response to that, and then also made a couple of posts. Also, kind of really at this point in time, kind of like wondering the whole why of the thing. So I did that, and then we got into some responses from the representative of the company and the person called coordinator, and then that's when things kind of broke down. Really broke down. Lucy, thank you for joining us. Really glad to have you here. Happy Sunday to you, and again, real quick, happy Father's Day to everybody out there too, as well. Again, I kind of want to, start with really, the company itself, Johnny Appleseed Organic, is founded by a gentleman named Jeff Meyer. And Jeff Meyer, okay, real quick though, first is I found out about Johnny Appleseed Organic a couple of years ago, and they were running some promotions for auditions for a project that they were working on called Garden Gladiators. And this was just the months prior to the COVID pandemic outbreak, and at that point in time, they shut down that project. And it was at that time that I learned about the company Johnny Appleseed Organic, and learned about this gentleman Jeff Meyer, who runs the company, and for some reason, I don't know, it just kept, there was something really familiar about that name. And over the next couple of weeks, and in the process of being considered, or that sort of thing, as the Garden Gladiator project was moving forward before it ended. I remember one day I was kind of looking through my garden shelf, for all of my garden books, looking for something, and while I was flipping through some books, all of a sudden it just really dawned on me exactly who that was. Real quick before I say that, though, I do want to say, or actually here, we'll just talk about this. I have this book in my collection. It's called America's Famous Historic Trees. And one of my favorite things, ultimately, I would say this: I love growing things. I've been involved since I was a young kid with growing different things, mostly house plants, throughout most of my adult life, until about a decade or so ago, finding out about growing food and all of that. And then my whole gardening thing really took off. But I've always been a person who's really, truly fascinated with trees. In fact, trees are probably my favorite growing thing, ultimately, that's out there. Trees are majestic, they're beautiful. I'm amazed at all the different sort of trees that I get to come in contact or see, and all that sort of stuff. So I'm always looking at trees all the time. So I remember getting this book, and it was a really great book because it really goes into a lot of different really cool stories about some different famous trees, throughout our history. And I'll just make a plug real quick for this other book, because this was the book it's beside, because I really enjoy this book too. It's called All the President's Gardens. And this is by Marta McDowell, and also another kind of historical story of the different gardens of the White House. I really encourage you to look at that. I had to mention that because it was the book that was next to the America's Famous and Historic Trees by Jeff Meyer. And at that point in time, I thought, how cool, what a cool different kind of connection, was that, not only did I find out about this company, and I tried to get involved with their first project, the Garden Gladiators. I had this book by Jeff Myers in my garden book collection for years, and really, I'd love to pull it out and take a look and flip through it, as I do with a lot of my different cool more say coffee table type of gardening books. I just really like that. And then in the next year or two, I also did, check into some more of his writing, because he had written for Mother Earth News and things like that. And I ended up getting also his tree book. And this is also actually, found it to be a really great book, because, again, I love trees. All right, wait, I also don't want to forget about everybody who's joining with us here too. So I got to make sure I'm keeping an eye on both here as I'm going on about all this sort of stuff. But happy Pops Day to all. Lucy, thank you. And Jimmy, thanks for joining us. I really glad to see you here. Hello, all, happy growing. And then Matthew, trees are amazing living beings, long lifespan. Imagine if we can understand their language. Seriously, I think about that sort of stuff all the time. That's stuff I really think about and ponder. I got a lot of different little side tree stories I could tell you. So maybe someday I'll put out or do a live stream, and we'll talk about trees sometime, because really, ultimately, I'll say that too, because I'll mention that kind of makes me think of another thing. But that Garden Gladiator project ended up being canceled, and they stopped that sort of thing as the pandemic hit. And then now, a couple of years later, they're wanting to get back into some other project, and they came up with the Invitational. And that's something that I was seeing some promotion through, because now I've got, Johnny Appleseed, all these, in my email and in all of my different social media and all that sort of stuff too by this time. And so I'm seeing about this garden invitational and thought, well, you know what, we've got to really give this a shot. We got to really do this, because I really thought it would have been really fun to be a part of that Garden Gladiators project, and was kind of happy to see when they sent me the letter before that there was, that I was even maybe considered for it, so it was really thrilling, that whole idea. So I thought maybe we might be able to have a shot at this other project. So this last fall, as they're promoting auditions and all of that sort of thing, we came up with some and it was fall time, so it was the end of our growing season, but we still came up with I thought, a nice little audition video. You can check that out too. I still got the Johnny Appleseed videos open and up on our main page on YouTube. And the very first one, I think I showed the audition video, and we talk about the competition a little bit. But it was fun, and I got it out there, and I thought, well, let's take a shot at this. And ultimately was really, really thrilled later towards winter time, that they announced that I was chosen for this project among 6 other just wonderful, awesome growers and gardeners around the country to compete in this competition. And at that point in time, I'd had some plans kind of set up for the channel. I've kind of got I don't know, say kind of a 5-year plan, or kind of a plan that takes me off into the distance a little bit, of some things and goals I want to kind of accomplish. So this came up, and I kind of squeezed it into some things and held off some other things in order to kind of do this, because I just thought it would be a great, awesome thing to do, and and then ultimately, to getting back to Jeff, though, also, because I was going to say, I thought, it'd be really cool too, is, at the end, was to also be able to have him on one of our live streams after the competition's over, because I knew we'd probably have to wait till the end to kind of have that sort of communication or something like that, But I thought how cool it'd be at the end, and to have him on one of our live streams, and to be able to talk about trees and the competition and all that sort of stuff. So as all this stuff is getting going, I'm really thinking about all this sort of stuff. Not only is it Johnny Appleseed Organic, but also it's, in the logo and everything, presented by Mother Earth News. I've been subscribed to Mother Earth News for years. I love Mother Earth News' content and a lot of their articles. In fact, some of the projects and little things I've used around my urban garden are things that I've gotten through different articles and projects that are available through Mother Earth News. So I'm really excited about being a part of this, knowing that they're involved, and this company of this person who I'd been reading and had been considered with before for his other project. And so it was just kind of a really just awesome, exciting thing. We got together and did a Zoom meeting, and got to meet all the different contestants, and the coordinator, and the president, and also a representative from Mother Earth News. Everything was just kicking off on the right start. Everything was great. We had they sent us a contract we'll talk about just a little bit more, that we all signed up for, with a bit of understanding on both of our parts. And that's going to be key to some of the things we're going to be talking about a little bit later here, is that it's on both of our parts. These all of us different contestants were chosen because we all have a social media presence. I have a YouTube channel and a gardening group, and also my Instagram, which really I just kind of kicked in and got using for this competition. Oh yes, okay. Just want to mention Lucy is like hung some lights on her potted avocado tree. She gets to grow an avocado tree. That's really cool. And it's like where she gets to enjoy her coffee under the tree. I've got a lot of really fun spaces around the garden that I really enjoy. My happy place. So yeah, that's that's awesome. I wish I could grow an avocado tree. I gotta get back to where I was thinking there for a minute. But Lucy, thanks again for that comment. Actually, and Jimmy Pickles too. Exciting stuff. Yeah. Yeah, it was exciting, really exciting stuff. And I'm not a competitive gardener, but I've got enough experience with growing some things that I thought, oh, well, maybe we have a shot at maybe possibly growing some of these things that were a part of the different competition categories and all of that. So, I really ultimately got into it, thinking, I'm still a pretty, I believe a pretty still learning gardener. There's a lot of things, and especially when it comes to like competitive growing, and more so as I learned a little bit more about growing like the squash now. So I just really didn't really think about it in the terms of like winning. It would be great to win the ultimate the first place prize of $50,000. That would have been great, but ultimately, being a part of the project was really just the key thing. Just being involved in all of that. So, um, uh, yeah. Chris says I drink coffee under my coffee, which he has a coffee tree, which is awesome. Yes, exactly. But yeah, so I was really excited about the whole thing, as we were getting started, and really thinking about how this was just going to just be a great thing for the channel altogether. Not only were we going to be using our channels and our different pages and social media presence in order to promote this contest, they were also going to be out promoting us and helping our channel grow and bringing some people here. In fact, if you're watching and you were brought in by the competition, get down in the comments, or if you're here live, get in the comment section, let me know. But it was going to be a great opportunity ultimately for both ends, both of us, both Johnny Appleseed Organic and them and their products, Climate Guard and all of that, and us, the Urban Gardener, and our channel getting our name out a little bit more. And so, we went to work. We started getting things together. I developed a plan and an idea for what I wanted to do and put out for the competition. I organized some, which everybody has been seeing, first some introduction videos, going over the rules type of videos, and doing that sort of thing, and then getting into the competition category videos where I wanted to show everybody, the our seeds we selected, show everybody that, sowing from the seeds to our starts getting growing and all of that, plus put in a nice video interview with a special guest each time. And that's where I thought, really, if we're going to be strategizing and doing that, I thought it would be great to reach out to some other channels out there and some people who are friends of our channel, and to ask them if they would help us out and give us some really good interviews. I wish the audio was a little better on some of them, but all in all, they were great interviews, and those folks were awesome to come along. And again, as I mentioned before, I say we're a modestly sized gardening channel. So I wanted to get out and connect with some channels that had a larger audience. I wanted to get the promotion. I wanted to get people out there, and hopefully, when it came down to it, 2 of those categories required votes. So I wanted to get the word out as much as possible, and figured if I was working to get the word out, that that would come back in the end and hopefully get me some good votes to win some of those voting categories. And so we invited guests like Gardner Scott. Gardner Scott has got a really nice. Everybody's got, and this is where I just, I really, getting into numbers and all that sort of stuff. But, they all got really good sized channels, and Gardner Scott and a couple of others were also inviting me to come onto their channels as well to help promote and get some votes out for everything as well too. We also had one video that I didn't get to finish editing as I got sick. There were a couple of things I was still trying to get together to finish up that video that I wasn't able to do. So, I got as far as like kind of editing the interview and working on putting some other pieces together for an interview with Kang Starr, who has joined with us with Christopher Bransdahl, and in our first day of spring live stream videos over the last couple of years. Kang is a really great friend of our channel and was really excited about helping us out and being a part of everything that's going on. And he did a great interview for us for our hottest pepper category. And I'm still trying to figure out what I'm going to do with that, or how I might possibly put that out still, or something like that. I'm not sure yet. It is all geared around this competition, so I'm still trying to figure out what to do with some of the footage and some of the things that I've still got and still going to do. But so I was really excited as we did that, and also really had planned some really fun, and was hopefully going to have some really great content coming up as I was getting better. The content I was planning on starting on and getting to work on as I got sick. A really fun video I was trying to put together, kind of showing the area I live in and kind of how that pertains to how we garden and some of the different things that we do. So kind of a highlight area for the competition to, just kind of highlight where we're from here in Southern Oregon. I love sort of the Southern Oregon, and I thought and it's a really, really beautiful place. Probably not as beautiful as where Christopher lives in Norway, but here in Southern Oregon is really beautiful, and I did want to kind of make a video kind of highlighting and showing that, and some other kind of planting videos, and some other special guests that I was hopefully going to get to come on and to work with us on doing some of those planting and some of the upcoming update videos. I just had a lot of things planned, a lot of things going on. I got a whole calendar that's on the wall up behind all of you guys that, I was just trying to piece together a lot of the other things that I was really doing and trying to, keep going for not only this competition, but for our channel and for our micro pepper farm that we have as well too. One of the projects that I didn't and wasn't going to really put aside, I wanted to kind of run with that project as well. Really fun. We're going to be continuing all of that. I'll talk about that just a little bit more here in a bit. So we had a lot of things planned. We had a lot of things that we had already done. In fact, one of the biggest things, and I mentioned kind of a little bit, there was Instagram. Was getting to get on Instagram. It was something I had set up several years when I got all of the channel and everything started, but it was a platform that I wasn't necessarily used to and didn't use for a while. I mean, I tried a couple of times and did a few different things, but the way the competition kind of took off and was going changed kind of from what we all were understanding was the setup of the competition, and so trying to see if that's exactly what I want to actually talk right about. And the competition was supposed to have in a big part of the contract, and big part of what we were doing in the participation was that Johnny Appleseed Organic was to set up a website for us where our submissions were going to go to for one, from what I understood from the contract and all of that, was that we were to produce content for our social medias, and that they would link link those sort of things to our online website and leaderboard. As we got going, it kind of turned into this submit things directly to the coordinator, which was kind of different from what I understood as we got started, because then as I was reading things and we were getting started, I was developing this plan with putting out content through the channel, and not only that, really starting to work our Instagram page, and that connected with our Facebook page, and really work on that a little bit more. And ultimately that ended up becoming what it was, though. They were not able to get the website set up as it was originally intended to be. So they did get and set up these introduction videos for each of us, and that's kind of how it remained for up until just a couple of days before our elimination. And so that was kind of the situation at that time. So I was kind of wondering what was, here's what was the situation going on with that. And at that point in time, I did email the coordinator about what we were really doing as far as submissions or where, because I was really confused. I just originally thought it was us putting content out. They were going to link it to this page. It then became like submit things, and I thought that submission was then going to go onto the website, but that never really happened. What ultimately started happening was that the competition was promoted and ran through Instagram ads and Instagram posts. So at that point in time, I wasn't sure exactly, there were some emails about format, whether it's going to be a landscape or it's going to be a portrait, those sort of things. And so really I was kind of confused, and that's why I sent that email out and didn't get any response back about it. And my intention in the email was to understand whether or not that's what we were doing besides the website, was the Instagram stuff. And without getting a response back, I really just kind of doubled my efforts towards Instagram. And really thankful though too. Absolutely awesome that that happened. I really enjoyed the Instagram presence in learning the whole process with it and how it connects with our page. It really was great. So I started putting out not just content for our channel and our micro farm, but I was really, like I said, doubling my effort and trying to put out all the different chronological pictures of the different things that we had for all the different competition categories. And so I was putting out more when it came to that sort of sense of output of content than what the contract was even asking me to do. So the video portion was kind of, where I knew I was making videos exclusive for the Johnny Appleseed Organics Invitationals. I talked about the category videos. I talked about the competition, the rules. We got into the whole thing. I had a plan for doing, again, all those other things moving forward. And so that's kind of where things stood for me at that point. I was really working the Instagram. I was still kind of confused a little bit about how the videos were going, because there were a couple that I did send through a Google type of site that we had set up for us to be able to upload our videos to because of size and that sort of thing. And it worked well for them and their web designer and all of that. But I had been sending things, here and there, because I just, was I doing this on there? Were we really doing this? I wasn't sure. I was reading the contract. It wasn't saying these things, so I was really confused, and I didn't get that response about what it was there. So I did kind of send a few more things through an email, and because I wasn't sure whether or not I was getting the right address for the Google site and all of that. So I was sending some things there, and there were only a couple of things they were using. I mean, they used a video I made and used it as an ad, and then they used a picture that I made, I think, again too, and used it as an ad. But there were several other things that I took the time and I made that they didn't use. So that kind of made me wonder. I was like, okay, so these things aren't being directed towards this website, not understanding exactly how and what's going on there. And then I started getting some emails about how they're working with the web designer to get the website set up like it was supposed to be. And this was probably maybe just shortly before COVID. Now, again, as I mentioned earlier, we did a live stream a few weeks ago, the day that the symptoms were really hitting me, and I took my at-home COVID test. And it was just shortly after that, like I mentioned too earlier, that it laid me out completely. Those symptoms came on really hard. It was difficult. It was tough. You know, being sick is one thing. Being sick with this was a completely another thing. Um, and from what I learned later on, I didn't have necessarily a mild case. I had a little more severe than mild case. That's why, it's, you know, 3 weeks later, 21 days, 21 days now, and I've still got a few different kind of lingering symptoms. I'm not quite 100% yet. I feel a lot better though. Believe me, a lot better. There's just a few things kind of hanging on, and I'm assured that over the next few weeks those things will more than likely wear off, and I'll be back to 100%. And I can't wait, but still, I'm in a lot better shape now than I was. Really, thankfully, it was difficult. It was tough. It laid me out for a while. And I mean, the energy issue of it all was the hardest part. Um, just barely enough to get out and to keep things watered. And luckily for me, in our area here in Southern Oregon, which has been dry the last several years, so when this came on, I was really worried because there's a lot of work to be done as the heat of summer starts to kick in just before our summer solstice here. Um, so yeah, I was really worried right up at front. Luckily, some rain came, and we had some good rains. We had some things that just really helped me out a bit. So I only had to make so much effort for a little while to get out and do that. So yeah, that, and really right off the bat, after I did that live stream and all of that, and those symptoms were really hitting me, and I was really getting worried about where this was going to go next, as what I was reading, because at this point in time, you're just really starting to read, starting to really look into a lot of the different things about, like, okay, what does this mean? What is this going to do? How much worse is this going to get? Am I going to be able to get out of bed today? You know what I mean? Questions start to arise really heavily, but a lot of my mind was on the things that I wasn't going to be able to do for my garden, this channel, and of course this invitational. I had a lot of different content, a lot of different things planned, and I was right in the middle of working it. We're right in the biggest transition of the season. We're going from spring to summer. We've got things, getting planted in, new starts going. We've got stuff coming out. There's just a lot of things happening, and then we've got all of these competition categories too that we're growing for too. That's got a lot of different plants, and especially the squash plant. And ultimately, I had to figure it out because I don't got enough space here in my alleyway to grow the type of size of plant that I need to grow. In fact, we grew the pumpkin we got, and it only got to the size it got because I had to really cut that plant back, and I had to keep those vines from growing. And a squash of the size that we wanted to get to win this competition was going to take some space. So I had to go out, and a friend let me use their space to be able to plant a couple of the plants out, and then another friend let me plant out at their place too. But it was about getting that done. It was about doing all of that while all of this stuff was hitting me, and you know. Like I said, I mentioned Matthew's last comment there. It's been on a little while, but I just kind of like that. He says, it would be funny to hear something voiced over every time you say Johnny Appleseed. Yeah, if there's a way I could go through and re-edit or do something like that. I don't know. I'm really kind of still trying to figure out. Maybe if people have some suggestions what I could do with the content I've already got. Should I keep it on there? Should I take it down? Maybe, or should maybe I put maybe some disclaimers in the descriptions? What should I do? I mean, when it comes to doing that sort of thing, I'll ask all of you, the audience, what do you think about that sort of thing as well, too? But all in all, at this point in time, it's just a real bummer that this is happening, getting sick in the middle of all of this, and of course, having this invitational, this competition, and knowing that I needed to get some of this content together. Like I mentioned about that interview with King Star in the hottest pepper category, um, it was it was right then as I'm getting sick that I'm, trying to finish and put together some pieces to that video that, ultimately I really just wasn't capable of doing. I literally did not have the energy, and I just could not get in front of a camera and try to convey or do what it takes to kind of work that together. And then even getting that done, if I was able to do that, there was just no way I was going to be able to really put together the effort it was going to take to get the videos edited and taken care of. So at that point in time, I was worried. I was worried at that point then, saying I felt I was behind, you know. This is putting me behind because that video was not going to be able to come out at the time I wanted it to come out, and I was going to have to take this break because of the issues that I had with these symptoms that were really hitting me hard. And so I immediately, and this is where we're going to really start getting into all of this, is I immediately sent an email to the coordinator, and I let her know and informed her about how I was feeling and about how I felt about this video and it not being able to about it not being able to be uploaded, and just kind of saying I'm worried about getting too far behind, but I just don't, I just don't know what I can do as far as what I was dealing with, being laid out by this, by COVID and this infection, and I got an email back. In fact, that's what I wanted to do here. Sorry, just one moment. I want to make sure we get the email that I'm looking at. Also, yeah, and also in the email too, I was still trying to figure out, but I got those emails about the website, things like that too. So I did want to make sure that I had the specific link to the Google thing, so that if that's what we're going to be doing was having our content loaded to this website, then that's what I wanted to make sure I got that link from her as well too. So she said, "I'm so sorry to hear that, Enoch. Here's the link to your folder. I hope you feel better soon. The web designer is really behind, and I don't think he'll even be ready to meet with me before Thursday now. So please, no rush. Just take care of yourself." And then the link. Okay. So really, I mean, this was and this was the last sort of communication between the coordinator and myself through email or any other sort of way. She did send an email out on the 6th, which would have been about a week later. She did send out an email to all of us contestants talking about content and our Google folders, and that the website was going to be done, and that, for us to be getting that content to her. So I did send another email. After receiving that, I sent an email to her stating that that I hope I am on the mend here. This has been a difficult last couple of weeks. I do hope to be able to get in front of a camera soon and film updates. I will get you those files as soon as I can. And then, the part of the previous email was asking us whether we got these scales that they sent out. And then I mentioned I did get the scale in the email. And this was on the 7th. And then after sending that email, I did not get a response. And this was, kind of becoming the thing here. Was, she did send me a response to that one, but there were a couple of other emails, like I mentioned before, about how we were doing content and all of that I never got responses on. And then here I'm trying to tell her that, hopefully real soon I can get in front of the camera. It's just, when you're, and I'm just going to say this, this is on the 7th. This is 8 days in, not quite even 10 days yet. So, I'm kind of saying, hey, hopefully this is going to be getting better. I don't even know myself. I'm still asking a lot of questions. I mean, at 8 days in, and I'm feeling as rough as I was. In fact, there come some moments where it kind of felt like almost up and down. Like I felt like, oh man, I can get up out of bed, and then you spend just a minute or two walking around the house and going, okay, wait a minute, no, I can't. And so it was a lot of that sort of thing. And I just wanted to convey that it's really been difficult. I'm going to do it as soon as I possibly can, and then hopefully I was hoping to get an email, kind of confirming and letting me know, hey, maybe something similar. But all I could do was go on the last communication that she sent to me personally, and that was, please, no rush, just take care of yourself. And that's kind of what I felt at the time. I was like, this company, I felt we've done a lot of work, we've got a lot of things in the works, we got a lot of stuff going on. They know this, they understand this. That's why she told me, please, no rush. That's why she told me to just take care of myself, was that ultimately this company's concerned about me personally and would want me to do what I needed to do. It was a couple of days later that I did get up thinking I could go in waters and do some things, and I was messing with the hose and I almost passed out. I kind of, was at first was like, okay, I'm not ready there. And then I tried to do something just a little bit more simpler, like sitting up in bed or something, and felt like I was going to pass out again just doing that. So that's when I was like, okay, what's going on here? And I believe it was the 9th or the 10th that I went to the hospital. I went to our local COVID hospital here and got checked out. I was concerned. Here I am, into, what would be around the 10th, 11th day of the infection. Most, as I hear, most mild cases are, really people are done and over and feeling a lot better by that time. And I'm feeling like I'm going to pass out. Doctor assured me, though, that from what they took and as far as the tests and things like that, that my case was probably just a little bit more than mild, but ultimately from what they were experiencing, that I would probably be on the mend really soon. Could take up to 20, 21 days or so. And at that point in time, I'm just thinking, well, I'll listen to the doctor. She said, get back in bed, take it easy, try to see if you can find some people to help you do some things and that sort of stuff. And then not hearing back from her the last time I really did was just like, I really thought, okay, well, you know what? I need to take a couple of more days. And so I did take a couple more days. And still, though, like I said, I was not really feeling 100%, but, I got up and I was like, what, I've got to get this stuff done. I really want to do that. It's taking too long. I got plants. This is a garden. Things are growing. You know what I mean? I need to get going. So I half listened to the doctor. I took a little bit more time, but as soon as I was feeling like any sort of energy was there, I got out and started filming videos. I started filming just kind of a little one-on-one type of exclusive video for Johnny Appleseed, and was working on getting that edited. I was taking a bunch of pictures that I needed to get caught up with so that they can keep those in a chronological order, and really felt at the time as I was doing this, and I was working my butt off too, feeling better, mind you, but I was really working my butt off to get these things together and make these pictures and do that. I was spending some really long days working, not just out in the garden, taking and getting the video or the video footage or the pictures and the things like that, but also coming in and editing and doing the different things that you need to do. There's a lot of work that's behind content creation, and was just really in the middle of working my butt off on that. And I'm trying to think too and really remember if how I, because there was an email sent. In fact, we'll get to the email sent here. 6, what was it? So on the, I don't think this, I'm pretty sure it was the 12th. Let me see. No. Oh yeah, it was as of the 12th, but the email was sent on the 14th. Okay, so I didn't really. Okay, so this is actually, I was wondering why I hadn't seen the email if it was from the 12th, but from what I'm seeing here, actually, I got the email pretty much when it was sent. In fact, I got it maybe just a couple of hours later because the 14th was the day that I filmed the reaction video that I did. Okay, so that's some clarification. I didn't quite there until I looked at the dates here being sent, because I was just going by what I read in the email that we regret to inform you that despite our fondness for your exquisite urban garden, as of 6/12/2022, we can no longer host your participation in our Johnny Appleseed Organic Invitational. We appreciate you emailing us about delays, but the last content we received was on May 1st, 2022. And then this is where it gets complicated, because now I don't understand what she's talking about by May 1st, 2022, because as I've already kind of explained in the lead up to all of this, content was supposed to be taken from our social media sites and linked to the website. That's what the contract talks about. We got the contract, and the contract I signed on the 9th of February, in fact. Each of them talks about how that we need to make content in the form of either a video focused individually on each contest, or a video communally showing progress in all contests, and still photos with descriptions for our social media. And then in the content creation, it's contestants must create a minimum of 2 self-generated videos per month and still photos each week for the duration of the competition, which include videos and still photos made for challenge requirements. In additional updates and things that I might like to share, these videos will be linked to the contestants' public profile on a online leaderboard where people who follow the contest can view them and learn while they enjoy the competition. Additionally, they may be shared or reposted on other platforms owned by any of the sponsors. Meaning basically we create content, that's why they picked us as content creators, create content on our social medias, our YouTube channel, and then they're going to link that content to our online thing. And then of course I did understand that after all of this, they did send some emails about how they were going to set up a Google folder for us so it would help the web designer with some of the things to be able to format, or I'm not too sure exactly how that was. I'd have to really dig into those emails back then. But then that's why I sent the email that I didn't get a response to, about how I wasn't really sure about how this was going, because it wasn't, from what I was reading, how this was supposed to work, because I was really worried about how it was going to correlate with the content I was creating for the channel, as I thought the content I was creating for the channel was what was going to be moved and linked to this leaderboard. And so then at that point, of the email that they sent, I'm not sure. So what I'm wondering then is that all of this work that I've been doing now for my channel, not just my channel, but also the Instagram, also all the other things, from what I understand, in her mind, is not being counted. Because if it's, my last submission was on May 1st, then she's not counting all of my Instagram posts that are on my social media. That right here, it tells us that can be shared or reposted on all platforms by any of the sponsors. And also there's other parts here where it goes into that all of the content that has to do with Johnny Appleseed Organic and Mother Earth News Invitational belongs to them. And so that's what I understood. I was making content on my channel that belonged to them. And so that's what I did not and could not understand what she meant by May 1st. So she wasn't counting the social media posts and content that I was creating, not just for the Invitational, but ads and promotions for Climate Guard through my other gardening and my garden journal videos I was making, all these other things, you know. So from what I was understanding, it was like, wait a minute, they're not counting that, I guess. That doesn't make sense because that's not what the contract says. Okay? So that... And then I go, okay, and so at the risk of redundancy, we made our content requirements as clear as possible to ensure all contestants were prepared. We went over them content requirements during our Zoom orientation on the 27th. And yeah, I'm going to talk about that just a little bit. You know, it was a discussion. We had a Zoom meeting and a discussion with everybody about all of that. And as far as I got from that Zoom meeting as well too, was exactly what I've been describing. I also got that kind of in the message and the founder was present during that Zoom meeting, and what in his presentation to us was of the same sort of understanding I got, was that we were chosen as content creators, and that you know, that we'll be able to utilize our presence, and not only that they were going to be doing things to help promote us. It was a big thing he talked about. In fact, one of the things Jeff talked about was possibly, and I can't remember if it was exactly the Tonight Show, but that's kind of how big he was thinking in his mind of all of this sort of stuff, and that we would be working together in some sort of social media kind of promotion of this whole thing. So that's kind of what I got from all of that sort of stuff. So I'm not sure exactly what all of that was talked about. On February 10th, they signed the invitational contract. It was the 9th, I'm not going to really say anything about it. But the 10th, you know, that's fine. We signed the contract and we got all of that. She's going over the minimum self-generated videos, include still photos requirements and all additional tips. These videos are linked to the contestants' public profiles on an online leaderboard. And it's just basically repeating the exact things that I read to you off of the contract. You know, contestants will receive a competitor prize and submitting all six after submitting all 6 challenges, and you know, and then goes through the different emails and all of that sort of stuff, and you know, and that's where things kind of get, you know, kind of a little different, because their emails, and I've gone through and I've taken a look, and in some senses there are some things where as far as taking personal responsibility, I did email some things in the wording of that sort of those emails was that you know, I was working on certain things that I thought was to be exclusive stuff because we had this Google thing, but in no way did I think that any of my stuff was not being considered or counted as far as contest requirements. But I was kind of wondering about, you know, and she talks about some of the emails and how I wasn't getting some of them, and landscape, or she was talking about the one she sent about landscape mode, and it's between March 9th and 1st, you did submit quality content and photos, but not the required amount, and did not make up previous missing content. And that's where, again, where I was confused. I'm not sure about that. I was just trying to make and give her content that they could be putting onto Instagram. And that's really where a lot of this goes to, is that the website was not set up. The website that we're talking about that they wanted to do was not set up at the beginning of the contest. It was not where all of our content we were making was going to. It was not all of that sort of stuff. And again, I also mentioned earlier, I was sending and submitting things that they were not using. They only used a couple of the things I did submit. and I'm pretty sure that's the stuff where she said you did submit some quality content and photos, but then again, not the required amount. And then again, the 19th of May, asking for landscape mode. 26th, and then sent out an email offering and contestants to what was it? Offering you and all contestants who haven't uploaded their video a 4-day extension as a courtesy. And that there's no email on May 26th. And that's where things kind of go out of, I'm not sure where this is. I think some of this stuff isn't necessarily correct. I've looked through my inbox. I've looked through around the 26th of May. So, and yes, and I'm going to talk about that in a second too. Exactly. And that's where we're getting, because we're getting right to the end of just the things I want to put out there and just kind of have out. That's kind of the intentions of this whole thing is that, again, getting back to those emails about being sick, about the idea that I was trying to figure out exactly where we were going with content and how that was. I in no way thought I was behind in the sense that she was talking about in the email she sent to me to eliminate us. I got that email, immediately sent some emails out to the president of the company, to her. I reached out. I was just, hey, what's going on? What's happening? I can't believe this. There was no final say or anything like that other than the last communication we had about her saying to not to take care of myself and to not be in a rush. And I just kind of at that point in time thought that following doctor's orders in a sense was what I needed to be doing, and that if there was any of those sort of issues, that she would have further got a hold of me to let me know about that. And that just wasn't the case. And there was never an email or anything to say, hey, I know you're sick and I know you're trying to put things together, but we really have to have this done this date, otherwise we're going to have to eliminate you from the contest. There was no warning. There was nothing like that was put out. And so I just wanted to get out and just kind of say something, put it out on my social media and let people know. And obviously it was a devastating thing for me. I kind of wanted to just kind of share that with everybody and do that. And also kind of, say my piece about it, my side of the whole story. I put a lot of work into this. I put a lot of effort, time, energy, and now emotion, all that sort of stuff into this sort of thing. And it was really a devastating piece of news. And just wanted to, like I said with the last video, and if anybody's interested, you can check out the last video. It's a response video. And in that response video, I just, have to be clear and upfront too, as I understood it too, is I just took responsibility, and that video is all about self-responsibility and how, there were things I just couldn't get done. And things I wasn't able to get submitted at the time because I was sick, and I just wanted, and I was just really working hard at the time to get that done. And so I made those posts, or I made that video, and then by the next day was really just kind of just couldn't wrap my mind around the two questions of why would I be told no rush to take care of myself and to not get some sort of final warning. And so I presented those questions in the post that I announced that we were eliminated to everybody. And from there, the story goes into the coordinator responding to posts and, stating, obviously their side of the story. And I've let all of that stuff stand. It's on the social media still. Everybody could go and read all of that stuff right now and make of it what you will on your own, without that sort of thing. But the responses, though, the coordinator represents Johnny Appleseed Organic, and from what I understand, Mother Earth News, as well as they present this invitational. And in responding to the posts I made for my public announcement of our elimination became really unprofessional. And one post that's still up on Instagram that I made, again announcing our elimination, it got into different things, which I understood her response, and understandably that she'd have to make a case for their side of the story, absolutely. And but I didn't find it. I don't know. Of course, I didn't find it answerable to the questions that I had, and I presented those questions one more time and asked about, what does this mean? What do these words mean? How is someone supposed to move forward knowing that? And then why wasn't there some sort of more positive type of, like, why couldn't there have been a warning of, like, hey, well, and and then after that came a response that really became kind of why I decided to actually do this live stream. And that's kind of why ultimately, as was just Chris had said here about, well, I think you should take the L and move on, get out there and create your own content with a great start you have in your garden this year. Yeah, and just don't waste time on it. And I completely kind of agree in that. And we'll talk about that just a little bit more, get in more depth into that actually just a little bit more. But that's kind of where I was before, at the end of that, without a really decent response or an answer to those questions, I got a response that was offensive. And I'm having a heck of a time finding this. Let me get on here, actually. So, yeah, so, again, really sort of, in the sense of what you're talking about, Chris, was really feeling like, okay, let's just move on. We got this and that's going on and all of that, and we can just move forward, and then I wake up to a response to those two posts I made, and there's also a post with those two questions I asked and the response on my social media. And everybody can go read that, to see it. I took a screenshot and all of that. But at that point in time, the representative of these companies, the coordinator of this event, made a comment saying, blaming a woman's writing for tone for not completing your work is absurd. I'm sorry I couldn't perform your emotional labor for you to your standards. I gave you the extension you said you needed, another one, and then you did not meet your own deadline. Stop blaming women for your lack of effort and commitment to a contract you signed. I will not be your punching bag. I will not be your punching bag. Stop blaming women for your lack of effort and commitment to a contract you signed. And again, I'll just let that kind of stand up for what it is. And again, kind of in that sense of thinking about what it is. But, it wasn't just offensive to me, it was offensive to people who are loved ones of mine. It's just a completely unprofessional stance to take when really just kind of manipulating a contract to fit a situation that was not completely made clear. Even when asked about making it clear, did I not get responses about making that sort of situation clear? And really, ultimately, there could have been positive things to move on and to do to get things together with the. I wasn't the only competitor. This isn't just me. I've There are two other competitors who were dropped as well. I've been in contact and talking with one of the other ones, and it was the same thing for them. Their issue was more of a landscape and portrait type of video type of edits that needed to be made and that sort of thing, and you know, it's just really kind of a bummer that, you know, some content creators could be picked for something so that they can help promote a contest, you know, and go out and work a whole, this is a contest that takes a whole season, it takes months of work. All of these things have taken hours and hours of different time and effort for not just me, but the other competitors as well. You know, one of the things I'll just mention about you know, the competition is supposed to be also ran by Mother Earth News. And I like Mother Earth News. But it seems that Mother Earth News' name is just to be on the actual logo for this, because as far as a representative being at that initial Zoom meeting, Mother Earth News has had nothing to do with this competition. And I kind of want to make that kind of clear as I've been talking about them and make that understood. It was literally in most of our minds in this competition that we were part of a really cool big thing that was national, with one of the more premier publications in gardening involved. So naturally, you're thinking, if this is a big contest and they're going to be promoting and putting it out there and all of that, that that it would end up in their publications. You know, this one here was a magazine that just came out when right as the contest was getting started. I didn't think about it too much as I flipped through it. Didn't see one word, not one thing. And the big kicker is not even an ad by Johnny Appleseed Organics placed in the publication. So I didn't think about it too much because I was, you know, it just got started. Maybe they didn't want to do it then, but there's also been two other publications, and it's a bi-monthly, so they do it every 2 months publication, and there's been two more that have come out since the competition, and there hasn't been one mention of it. Mother Earth News has not shared any of our content, has not pushed forward any of the Johnny Appleseed Organic Invitational things. So in some sense, I do kind of want to have a caveat here saying that ultimately, as far as I understand, Mother Earth News has nothing to do with this at all. At all. Other than being on the name presented by Mother Earth News. And ultimately, as I make that point, as I'm just trying to say, is that what it came down to, other than some posts that got limited engagement and ads through Instagram, that's all the contest became, which was not what we understood from the very beginning of the contest. We thought this was a national contest, that Johnny Appleseed Organic was going to be putting the word out. In fact, Jeff, the founder, talked with us in that meeting about how they want to get us millions of people. They're going to get the word out everywhere, and with a representative Mother Earth News right there, we had perfect confidence that this was the thing we were getting involved with, and that this was going to be awesome. And again, I thought a great opportunity for our channel. And that's why I want to just kind of make the caveat. Ultimately, Mother Earth News has nothing to do with this competition. In fact, I will be removing their name throughout most of all of the different content and the different things that I did, and probably will become part of any sort of disclaimer I make towards any other future content. Barring any sort of, stance that they take on anything, but because they haven't been involved, they haven't shared, they haven't done anything, they haven't said anything in any of their magazines or anything like that, I'm going to go with the fact that they are just not involved with this overall invitational project, and that they're not involved with any of the things that has to do with the elimination of us contestants, nor are they involved with the offensive comment that the coordinator made towards me on my social media. And to end all of this, as far as it goes with them and all of that, I did send an email to, actually I'll just say, I did send an email out to the president of the company, uh, Jeff Myers, who we've talked about, person that I've admired, person that I've read his books and his writings, and really, expressed the fact that I really, I thought their company was a perfect type of company to work with. I was really excited about being involved with all of this whole project and all of that, and I just kind of went through all of the different things that I have talked about here on the live stream up until now. I sent that email, or I did, well, I sent an original email when I got eliminated to him, and then he reached out to another person within the company to reach out to me. And that's when they offered me and I'll be upfront, they offered me the competitor's compensation, even though I hadn't finished the contest. So they offered to send me the competitor's compensation, which is probably in the mail as we speak, maybe. And the iPhones. They did buy each of us iPhones, and also extended to us to keep the fertilizers and the grow bags and the different things that they had sent out to us for the competition. And then that's when I just wrote out a whole email again, as I was saying, about everything that we've just talked about. And really, again, back to Chris's last comment there too, was, after writing most of all of that email out, which was before I received that offensive comment, I really kind of was like, if they send that and that's that, and if there's nothing more that's going on with this, and I'm just not hearing from anybody about it, I'll just let everything stand the way it is, and then we'll move on. And this live stream would have been a different live stream. But again, the next day I got that really offensive comment. And at that point in time, I went back to the draft of that email and finished the email in discussion of the offensive comment, and wondering whether or not the company really stands by these sort of comments and that sort of situation, and how much it, just really, the whole process of this really was a bummer. There were more positive things that could have been done. One of the things I mentioned was, it seems how we all really weren't on the same page. Instead of eliminating 3 people from the competition, how about let's have a little mid-season Zoom meeting. Let's all get together. Let's talk about where we are, especially seeing how this website that everything was supposed to be ran throughout the whole competition hadn't been set up until just days before our elimination. Why couldn't we get together on a Zoom meeting and really just get on the same page about how we're moving forward and really improve the competition? I mean, they had to have known how much work we've all put in up to this point, and why wouldn't you want to take a positive step towards something instead of a regressive step? I mean, eliminating 3 people and putting in so much time because your interpretation of the rules and contracts state that something different than what is understood, plus not having the website set up the way it was supposed to, plus us competitors really being the only promoters of this competition. Okay, so with that, I sent that email. I have not gotten an email back. It is the weekend, so I don't plan on really hearing anything as far as the weekend's concerned. So maybe sometime during this next week or during the weekday, I'm sure that maybe they might email me back and give me some sort of stance on how they feel about the offensive comment. Because ultimately all of this stuff, and really me really just wanting to get into this and not just letting the video I filmed before stand, and really kind of talk about some of the ins and outs of the different communications or lack of communications as far as things led up to all of that. I had an awesome time doing everything I did up to the point of getting sick, and or even up to the point of actually being eliminated without any due notice, and working on all those different things, and all those different things that I was doing in those final couple of days there. I was working so hard to put some of that content together so that we could really have a cool things put onto this new website. You know what I mean? So I just really kind of dumbfounded by the fact of how it's something so awesome, so fun, such a great, I thought a great project for us, and all of that could just completely turn around and become something that became so hurtful in the long run. And I'll just say one more thing as I end this about the comment. It was an offensive comment. I did not make any implications towards women or anything like that. I would never do anything in my life of that sort of thing. There was just no references of that sort of thing. It was just completely uncalled for. It was unprofessional. It was ultimately, as the coordinator of the event, a representation of the company on my social media in a very offensive manner. And then not only that, I put out a post to show that this is what this is, and I wanted it to be public. I don't think that people should be able to say things and do things like that and have it just hide up on the side in some sort of sense, because it's really offensive. And so I wanted to post it out there and say that I found that offensive and that it was uncalled for. And at that point in time, I got a threat from the coordinator's spouse. And again, these are all on posts that you can find on my social medias. In fact, my Facebook post is the one where the spouse got on and threatened me because I posted and was upfront about an offensive comment made towards me. And that's where it really kind of hurts. That's where it kind of got to be a real bummer, and it got to be a position that I had to kind of be more publicly open about, because I ultimately think that that really is the better route. But then it's at the same time, Christopher Bransdahl, my really good friend from Norway, is absolutely right in what his comment. You know, I think you should be able to take an L and move on. And I will. I'll take the L on this for sure. And I'm going to move on for sure. It still, doesn't mean that I don't think that some sort of addressing of such an offensive comment made towards me should not happen. You know what I mean? I think the company should have something to say about it. And then again, they could totally defend and stand by it, which I doubt. I can't see why anybody would. Or they could send me, an email just saying, hey, this is just not how we are and what this and that. I will share that with everybody if that's the case. And at that point in time, I'll just move forward. Move on. Greener pastures, greener gardens. We got greener pastures and greener gardens ahead of us here on the Urban Gardener. And that's kind of how I want to kind of get into the end here and end it on a really good note. Having that all being said and all of that, we are not a part of the Gardening Invitational anymore. That content is what it is. It's on the page as it stands right now, and I do ask all of you as audience members, people who follow along with me, all of you wonderful people who have reached out with a lot of just awesome support, and I have not had so much awesome support and so many people reach out to me. It's just been really wonderful. And all of you who've been paying attention or have any opinions on this sort of thing or want to reach out or say anything like that, please feel free. I'd love to hear from anybody. But also, I'd also like to hear about what you think about what I should do with content that's already published. And maybe a few different things with the content I already have. Or how should we handle the things that are growing in our garden? I mean, we've got competitive growing squash in our garden, man. I was so excited about that squash too. In fact, 2 of them right now. In fact, I've got to send out a message to the person who's got 2 of my plants down at their space, and then I have another plant over in another space. I'm probably going to focus more of my effort onto that one plant, I think, and see what we get. And we'll see what we get. Should I really try to do it, or should I just let it and see? Or how should I really kind of go about that, or kind of, handle that sort of situation like that, you know what I mean? And that's where I'd really love to hear from you guys about this sort of thing is, in the sense of moving on, what should we do as we move on, and let's do that. mentioned earlier that I've got a lot of really kind of fun things that I've been working and planning on and thinking about and developing over the last few years as we've been doing this competition. And not this competition, this channel, I'm sorry, but doing this channel. And so, on that note, I want to kind of be able to kind of fill in the kind of space that this competition was taking as far as content creation and different things that we're doing on the channel, and kind of maybe work on some of these other projects and get some of those things out. I mean, one of them I was really excited about and really just felt that I needed to kind of put it aside for a little bit. That's why I was kind of thankful about this whole competition too, is because I really, even though I wanted to move forward faster with this project that I've got working on, I knew there were some things that I was going to have to really do that probably should to make it or make it better, to improve the idea and to improve the project. It was probably going to take just a little bit more effort on my part, and that there was going to be some things that I was going to have to do, and so even though I wanted to push forward with it really bad, this competition came up and really kind of just gave me the ability to say, you know what, all right, let's do it. Let's just put that aside. Let's really work this competition, and then and then we'll work that, and in the meantime try to find different time to work on and develop some of the things to make that project a little bit better. So hopefully, I don't know about moving up my plan of when I was going to try to launch that project. I'm not too sure about that yet. That'll kind of go as I meet with and work with some of the different people that I'm working on with that project, and then we'll see how that stands, whether or not that project date can move up because I'm working on it sooner, or I have more time to work on it sooner, or if we'll just kind of keep with what I was planning to do and kind of do a next season launch of that project. So we'll see about that. We'll see how things work, Plus, we do have that micro pepper farm. I've got a little bit of footage that I was filming again prior to getting sick, and also a little bit I tried to get doing. In fact, I'll say the one of the times I mentioned that I almost passed out from watering the garden was actually me kind of trying to work these hoses, trying to grab these hoses. I was getting to set up the watering for the micro pepper farm. So I was there trying to water and set up this watering system, and I went to go lift up one of the hoses, and that's when things started to go black. That was pretty crazy. But so I've got a little bit of footage I've been trying to work on and get things together. So it's not going to quite go the way I planned because of how everything happened, but I think there's a way I could kind of pull this footage together and make a real kind of update video with where we are on the micro pepper farm, because things are really moving along with that. I'll tell you that right now. And I'm excited about showing you guys where we're at and what things are going on. It's, hopefully, I mean, we've gotten to the point with that whole project where, I know I could do this much. So I know that I could do this much. So I got that far with the project. So we're moving to another phase of this project, and we'll see where that goes. But you know what? We're going to have fun with that. And there ain't going to be no disappointments if it doesn't, like I mentioned in the first videos that we filmed about that, is that this is just a really fun project that me and a friend wanted to try out, and we'll see where it goes. But it's been fun so far, and it's actually looking really great right now. So I'm really kind of excited about that. And also, garden journals. One of the things that I was really kind of trying to stay on track with, and one of the reasons why we did do that last live stream that I did about me getting sick and having COVID and all of that, was because I wasn't, again, going to be able to put out garden journal videos, and I wanted to kind of be upfront about that with everybody and kind of have a discussion and do that sort of thing. How to garden. I'm sorry I didn't see you there. How you doing? Good to see you. I don't think my make sure that's not it. Okay, that is it. Okay, my bar wasn't set right on my comments right there. But anyways, again, I'm gonna try to wear a smile after all this. I'm gonna try to keep moving forward. We garden around here, man, and all of the things we do around here, I find fun. You know, I call them fun garden adventures, man, and I have fun with all the things that I do. I enjoy being able to share all of these wonderful things that we're doing with really wonderful people that I've gotten to just get even a little bit closer through all of this kind of whatever morass this is, over the last few weeks, and just gotten just I think a little bit closer to this audience and this community, and I'm really just really excited about just kind of continuing doing what we do here. We're doing awesome things anyways. You know, um, the type of things that we're doing here with our small space urban gardening, and the things that that we're doing as far as the garden spaces that I have are pretty unique as far as what you're going to get on YouTube and different gardening channels. We're gardening right out of an alleyway. In fact, I got something really cool to show you guys too as well up on our upcoming garden journal. So hopefully I'll get that done real quick. See, like I said, these things are really kind of excited about, but some improvements in the alleyway garden and some different things. In fact, those 45-gallon grow pots that Johnny Appleseed has given us at this point in time, are really kind of a cool little accent to a space that we have for our blueberries. So, that's just, so I'm just kind of really excited about how a part of our alleyway garden has turned out. I also like to show people the different things that you can do with elevated raised beds and containers, like our water wicking bucket containers that we use, in small space, patio spaces. Some people live in just an apartment with a balcony. I've grown. That was my first experience. It was growing a cucumber on a balcony. So those are the sort of things I want to continue to show people, that it doesn't matter about our spaces and our small spaces, that we can always find something or some way to be able to enjoy the process of gardening. Gardening has done so much for me in my life. Gardening uplifts me every time. Every time. And as I'm starting to feel better after this COVID infection, my mind's hopefully going to start clearing up 100% here in the coming days. It's been my garden. It's been my place. In fact, like I got right here on my coffee, welcome to my happy place. It really is. It's got me through so many things, and it's going to get me through this too. Gardening is a wonderful thing. People who know what I'm talking about and understand what I'm talking about and connect with what I'm talking about, get it and understand. Gardening is healing. Gardening is such a healing process. It is in time, part of my plans and future plans too is to be able to tell a really great healing story about a lot of things. There's a lot of things in my personal life I've not shared with people. I do share. I'm pretty open, as you can tell, about a lot of stuff, but there's some other things, there's a lot of, there's some things I haven't gotten really in detail. I might have mentioned in that sort of stuff too, though, that are really a part of how gardens have changed my life, how gardening has really healed my soul, and I want to tell that story. I want to make that story be known to people out there, that it doesn't matter the size of space you have, it doesn't matter what's going on or your level of garden knowledge at all, that you can find a practice in gardening that's not just rewarding in the process of growing your own food, which is awesome. I mean, you can't do better than grow your own cucumbers, grow your own tomatoes, grow your own onions, grow your own whatever it is. And we grow a lot of different things here. You can't beat that. But you also can't beat the bigger thing that gardening gives you. And that's just the pure joy, the pure, just process of growing things and feeling those sort of type of, I don't know, like more like, I said, I think of it in a time when I'm not feeling so good. I go out into my garden, I start tending some things, I get my hands in the soil, and I always leave feeling 100, maybe 110% better every time, and so, there are a lot of rewards to gardening, and that's the story, and those are the things I want to talk about when it comes to this channel. Those are the things that we're going to get into. We're going to talk about more of the positive ends of what gardening means to us. We're going to talk about what our gardens mean to us. I want to do all that sort of stuff. when it comes to this channel. But I also want to really get onto the things that we're doing, because I'll just mention one other thing that was just one of the biggest bummers, and I'm trying to maybe think of like an alternate season type of thing when it comes to it. But I was working and developing plans to go to Los Angeles. And everybody knows I like to go on this trip, not just Los Angeles, but to the Bay Area too, and also probably a trip that hopefully I'll still be able to make, possibly up to the Seattle area. But it was supposed to be right there at the beginning of June. I was going to take some time. And one of the things I was working on with some of the content was to get some things together for the competition, do all this sort of stuff, so that I could go on a nice trip and go visit some really cool people that I was in contact with. So then some more authors, some more people who are doing some really great gardening projects, and also hopefully go visit some people that we already know on our channel and all that sort of stuff. But I had to cancel like every single plan I had, and because of certain things, and then ultimately getting sick at the time I did. I was glad I got in and did what I did at the time I did, because it would have been just awful to have been able to drop that trip at the very last minute. So, but we'll get back on the road. We'll get back out there, go find some more of those fun gardening projects. We'll go talk with some really good gardening, I would say personalities, but authors, and all the different people that that we like to talk with and discuss our different passions of gardening, and how that all kind of connects and interweaves together in this great, awesome gardening community. So again, I'm just really thankful that all of you are here and join with me and hanging out, and listening to me talk about all the ins and outs of that competition. And and again, I do want to apologize in some sense that it's not the way I wanted it to turn out. It's certainly not the discussion I really ultimately wanted to have, but I do, because of how the competition was connected with us, wanted to get my side of the story, my angle, my end of everything out there for everybody, and then everybody can take that for what it's worth, and possibly take for whatever's worth any possible future comments made by the company. So we'll see how we move forward with all of that. And again, I'd really like to hear from all of you about how we should handle some of the content that's already out, and maybe some ideas on some content moving forward, or what are some things you might want to see. I'm kind of thinking right now that I've been working on over the last few days, just, doing some of that healing gardening work. I haven't necessarily been able to get the video camera out yet, but I've been doing some things. So there's a few things that maybe we could do a little tour here real soon, and kind of take a look around at how the spaces stand and where we're at with everything, and maybe even talk about some of those different competition category plants that we've got growing around the gardens. We've got some really nice tomato plants back there that hopefully are going to grow us some nice big couple pounders. I'm really excited about seeing that. We've got, in fact, that's one thing too, I don't know exactly how I'll be able to do it or what it costs, but the hottest pepper category, that was the category I felt the most confident about because of the pepper that I picked. I picked the Prima Tali over the Carolina Reaper. Now, we all know the different, well, I guess we don't all know, but some of us who are in the pepper lovers community, or in any of the other pepper communities, we know that there's, different stories behind how hottest pepper, or what the hottest pepper is. So I reached out to a few different friends. In fact, Jimmy, our friend Jimmy Pickles, who joined with us here and commented earlier, I'm not sure if he's still with us now, but Jimmy's the one who sent us our seeds for Prima Tali. In fact, I was really excited about getting to grow that out, and to be able to take that and send that off to this lab down in New Mexico, where they're going to be that's where they're sending all of our different competition pepper pods down there. So maybe I'll find a way, I'm not sure what it costs to do that test. I'll have to look into all that sort of thing like that or something. But, maybe we'll take and grow those pepper plants out. In fact, I've got a bunch of them. I wanted to make sure I got a pod. Super hot peppers I found can be really finicky with about, producing sometimes, kind of depending on heat and heat levels and shade, and really kind of tuning some of those things in. But I put some in different areas of the garden and different places so I could try, make sure that I was doing all these different possibilities and to get hopefully a really good pod out of that. So we'll keep growing those, possibly. And possibly we'll send those out to that lab and see where we stand ultimately with with how those peppers turn out. So that might be fun, we'll talk about that. And, there's sweet potatoes and a whole, what they call the curated container arrangement, which we picked as edible flowers, which, again, flowers wasn't as confident with. The way things kind of turned out with, getting things together and doing that sort of stuff, we'll see. Maybe they'll fill out those containers, really nicely here in the next few weeks and all of that. We've been having some pretty good weather, so as far as not being as extreme heat as what we've had for the last few seasons. So we're kind of excited maybe about seeing maybe how those turn out, see how big of a sweet potato we can actually get. They did send us a scale, so we can at least try to scale those out and see how big they all are. We'll do maybe a live stream with something like that, or find some way that we can kind of try to get some sort of it's not going to be official, and it'll never be official in any other mind, but we can decide to kind of maybe see where we're at. And if that sounds like a good idea to all of you guys out there, send me some comments, let me know what you think. We'll do that sort of thing. I'll talk about it a little bit more, and possibly in an upcoming garden journal about, maybe a little garden tour or something. We'll take a look around, because that's ultimately what we're going to keep doing around here. We're going to keep gardening, we're going to keep moving, we're going to keep growing on. And I've got a bunch of other fun little things that we could possibly have coming up here, hopefully towards the end of summer and getting into this fall season. And then again, like I said, we'll just move up our projects and focus on some of those other things and have some really fun, exciting things to continue to do. And all of the other things we've got growing in our garden. It's I'm just, really just glad to be back. It's just gonna be great to be back again. I was not expecting this. It was not my plan at all. I've been working really hard to try to keep up with and do the best I can. It's not easy when you're a one-man show like I am around here with all the different things that I've got going on. But I assure you, I'm working hard on getting out there and putting together some really fun stuff that I want to share with everybody, because that's really, again, ultimately what I love to do. All right. And again, unless there's any questions or anything like that anybody might have about any of this or anything possible or anything like that, I think we'll work on wrapping up this live stream. I'm not even sure. I'm probably talking for a couple hours here or something. I'm not even sure. It's not even. But yeah, we've been on here for a while. Probably the longest live stream I've ever done. But, I just, in ending all this, again, I just have to, really express how grateful I am for everybody and all of your support. It's been really awesome to see the people really stepping forward and telling me how they feel, and really reassuring me about what we do here and what my participation has been, and all of that sort of stuff. And that makes me feel a lot better, no matter the stance that they take on this. No matter what the stance is ultimately that they take on this, I feel good about what we did. I feel great about what we did. It was awesome. I feel great and feel good about where we were going. Just ultimately disappointed that they took the route they did versus the more, I think, constructive, positive route that they possibly could. Nancy, thank you. Yeah, I'm here the whole time listening. Commonly everybody, awesome. And get completely well. Yes, I'm going to work on completely getting well and soar like an eagle. Absolutely, we will. We will, because that's really ultimately what I enjoy the most, and it's ultimately what we're all about. It's growing and gardening. We're not about all this, you know, crazy drama and all that sort of stuff. But then again, it is part of our story. It's kind of part of the story of how everything has ended with a big, you know, part of what we've been doing over the last, you know, couple of months, you know, on our channel here. And so, yeah, thank you very much. Thanks, Nancy. Thanks, How to Garden. Thanks, Chris, Matt, Jimmy, Lucy. Thank everybody, you know, for joining with me here and getting on and leaving some comments. And again, thank all of you who've been on all of our other social media and commenting and leaving really awesome personal messages and comments on our posts. Please get down in the description below if you haven't yet or haven't already, and come join us on our Let's Get Growing Gardening group, and come share with us some of the things that you've got growing on, because that sort of stuff is really inspiring too. That's one of the things that really keeps me going, is getting to see all the different things that you got growing on out there. You know, Nancy shares a lot of really cool stuff growing in her garden. We've got other gardeners like our friend down in Los Angeles, Wayne, and his gardens, and a bunch of other people who just really share some really good things with us there. I'd like to see all of you there too, and we can share all about all these wonderful things growing on around us, and keep everything moving forward, and help lift each other up and inspire each other to do our best and to grow our best and to have our best and most abundant gardens we can. With that, I'm gonna say, let's get growing. I'll see all of you on our next video or live stream, or in one of our comment sections in one of our social medias. Get down there, come join us. We'll see you later.